Hi YouTube! So, this is the Gould, which I had up at Scott's last week. I think I put that video up. So, you can see it's like a very chamfered outside the body, quite a sleek looking thing, which when I hold it up here you can see that I didn't give it a wipe because black guitars are so shiny, they attract fingerprints like nothing else, and it's a very shiny guitar. Yeah, so I got this donated, cheers Liam, to the channel to fix up. All I got was basically the body and the neck, nothing else on it, so I've blinged it up my own way. I did actually see one after I'd done this. I tried hunting for them on Google Images and I did find another model of it. It was like kind of just a photo, nothing else, but it had black hardware, so it had like black pickups, black Floyd, black knobs, and it didn't look, I'm sorry, it didn't look anything like as good as this gold fancy looking one does. It looks great. I'll be honest, I kinda, when I saw it, it was like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, gold. I was like, I've got a gold Floyd Rose and I've got gold pickups, and it was like, no, I've actually got those. They're quite good for those Epiphone active pickups with gold pickup rings. And okay, I went for looks, but I mean, there's still a good principle behind it as well. I quite fancied having an active guitar. These pickups are the pickups and the wiring, the switch and the knobs and the output jack are from a Squire Jazzmaster, not called heavy metal, but a kind of metal Squire Jazzmaster, which is because my pal wanted a Jazzmaster but didn't want the the big floaty trem thing, so he bought this one, which is like a Tune-o-matic bridge and active pickups, but he didn't want active pickups, so he took them out. I ended up with them. So these are actually SQR branded and are pretty much unused. Not that they wear out or anything like that. So active pickups, 24 fret, Gould. I keep calling it Gould, but it's Gould, not Guild, and it's not gold either, even though it's got gold. So it's gold, not Guild, Gould, not Gould. Just in case it get confusing. Yeah. So this Floyd Rose I got in my Baby Metal LTD, which was not original to that guitar. I don't know where it came from, but it's all there, working quite well. It's the wrong arm I've got in it because it's silver, which is annoying, but not annoying enough for me to order a gold one. They're just a kind of standard fitting, just fitting anyway. You could maybe dip it in gold or something. Remember you used to electroplate things in chemistry in school? Maybe you could do that with it. I can't be bothered. If it was black, it wouldn't be so bad either. Even a black one would be fine. To have a black one, or maybe steal a black one of something else. Black would maybe look quite good because I've got this sort of gold and black. Yeah, so shark fin inlays. The neck on it's quite not necessarily what you'd expect for an Ibanez RG. It's very like a Charvel I've got. Scott reckoned it was the same as a Gibson SG, which might be sort of like an SG type neck. Quite thin this way, but seems quite wide this way. And again, when you're talking about quite wide, it's maybe a millimetre. A millimetre bigger than normal is wide. A millimetre thinner than normal is skinny. It's like, it's within the realms of normal, I suppose, if you could look at it. So we've got very blatantly an Ibanez copy headstock, angled back. These tuners are alright. They're not brilliant. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say they're fantastic tuners. They were actually on the Strat that Liam gave me as well. He gave me a Strat with gold hardware on it and a scallop neck. So I nabbed the tuners off that. But they could upgrade them, but the way I'm looking at it, it's got a Floyd Rose, so you've got a clamp here. So you tune it, you clamp it, and then you don't really touch the tuners again. You use the mini tuners on the bottom here. So they don't really need to be brilliant. I'm not saying they're bad. They're just, I'm kind of used to expensive Japanese guitars. They've got tuners that you go, these are kind of like pure, as opposed to being sexy tuners. Probably get demonetized for using that word there. Yeah, so just volume, tone, three-way switch. Nothing really that fancy. I've just made extra bits for it. I had to make this output jack, which you can't see anyway, which is fine. Could have bought one. It's just a piece of metal that I cut into shape and painted black. I also made a tread plate cavity cover, which is an improvement on any normal one because it's metal, so it's shielded. So it's like having a bit extra shielding. Yeah, it's better than plastic, and better than not having one. I actually found that when I was playing this, it was quite annoying. So I built the guitar, set it up, ready to play, and I couldn't play it until I'd actually made the back plate, because that's where the battery is and the battery falls out. Whereas in a normal guitar, oh, you don't have a back plate. Quite annoying, but you can still play the guitar. Obviously, you're going to put one on eventually to stop dirt and stuff getting in, but on this one I had to, because the battery just, you're playing it and trying to sit it in such a way. And so it just runs on a 9-volt battery. It does have the proper stereo output jack, so it doesn't go flat if you pull the lead out. I kind of know what I'm doing with these things. Yeah, so here we go. Gould, not doing too badly with the time. This is actually my second time trying to do the video. The first time I ran out of time, and then it was like, I can just do it again and try and keep it down to 10 minutes. I do want to sell this. I've got too many guitars. When it comes to Floyd Rose guitars, I've got Ibanez, and it's like, I love this guitar, so I don't need another one. I don't need one with Floyd Rose on it. I think obviously you could argue and go like, you've got 2 Telecasters, why do you need 2 Telecasters? That's got humbuckers in it. I was like, you've got 2 SGs, why do you need 2 SGs? Well, I just got that one last week, it was really cheap, and it's got vintagey style pickups in it, and that one's got like hot pickups. I'm clutching at straws a little bit to try to justify it. I was like, why do you need 2 P basses? And it's okay, they're not both P basses, but I'm in a Black Sabbath band, and that one's in normal tuning, and that one's in see, I got it all justified in my head. If I could obviously justify this and go, this was active pickups. I don't have any other guitars with active pickups, but too many guitars. And it's maybe look at, if I've not had them that long, then I don't have the same attachment to them. Some of these I can't sell because I've had them for 20 years. Yeah, so active pickups. I'll tell you about active pickups. What I know, well, active pickups normally they're EMG are normally the people who make active pickups, but other companies do, like Squire. So an active pickup, the thinking behind it is you don't want interference and noise, right? Which a pickup generally. So you get like a magnet with a wire wrapped around it as a pickup. So what you do with these is these have got a much smaller magnet, right? With a much smaller amount of wire on them, so they don't pick up as much noise, don't pick up as much volume either, right? So that's why there's a 9-volt battery in there, so it's like an electromagnet instead of just being a magnet. And what that means is you can get much cleaner, much louder, with much less noise on it, and just inherent in the system, the way it works, they've got a slightly different sound. But they do very clean, considering these are humbuckers. And very loud. Maybe even want to turn them down a little bit. Dave Gilmore used active EMGs for a long time because of lack of noise, because of your buzzing coming from different light shows and stuff like that. You generally don't get that much noise in a modern house, you know. If you're in an old Victorian house though, then noise, especially if you've got like old dimmer switches and stuff like that, could be a problem. Or if you're using tons and tons and tons of gain, which I don't really normally do, but that's also where active pickups come out. If you're doing the thrash metal stuff like that, or really really heavy down tune stuff, and you've got shovels and shovels of gain on, normal pickups kind of tend to turn to mush a little bit. So it's like you turn the gain up, doesn't really do it, and you just get. Whereas with active pickups, when you absolutely pile the gain on, they've still got a very distinct sound that you can actually hear individual notes, even when you've got the gain up so loud that normal pickups. So that's kind of like a metal machine, which is what I've kind of aimed at. Is this a slightly classic metal machine? I'm thinking rather than being, you know, like your Slayer covered in blood and dirt and stuff, more like your Dream Theater, where it's like, yes, it's very extreme metal, but it's also very clean. You know, they're sitting there in their clean outfits with a very polished guitar. I'm really showing up how much I really don't know much about Slayer or Dream Theater, but you know what I mean. It's slightly classier. Rat pedal then. And these are, that's a good for them. As I said, that's kind of the most gain I ever really used. And if you're into your metal and stuff, that's not gain. That's, lightweight distortion. It's like, sort of, it's a rat pedal, but I mean that's kind of as gainy as I want to go. I do have one more level of gain, which is my sort of Black Sabbathy pedal. It's actually a high fuzz. That is a bit heavier, but it can take more than that one. Not yet worked out to use that pedal. Yeah, that's a JHS pedal. This one. So certainly a unique guitar. I've never seen, well, as I said, I looked up Google images and stuff. I saw one other one that was this shape, but it didn't have all the gold stuff on it, and it wasn't active. It looks so much better with the gold, if I do say so myself. And it's got a Floyd Rose that's set up correctly, so you can bend up the way. Quite a long way, because it's quite rooted at the back. One, two, three, four. You can go 4 2-hole notes up the way, and then down the way. Infinity, really, isn't it? So I think if you want to freak out George McFly, who's in bed and in the 50s, and you want to scare him with some crazy guitar noises, you want one of these. And if you've got any skill at it, you can actually play like music, actual notes and stuff, while doing all this stupid stuff, rather than just going. I have heard people, there's skilled musicians out there that can actually make note tunes. Also, which is probably a much more practical thing, if you use it like a Strat trem, it just doesn't go out of tune, so it's like a Bixby. So, there you go, that's like what a Bixby does. As you pure welly it, then you get like a Strat trem and welly it. And then you would get like this and well it. What would Jimi Hendrix have sounded like if he had a Floyd Rose? So did a bit different, get something a little bit crazy. Gould, good make. So I'm just going to put this up for sale because don't need it. I've got so many guitars, don't need it. So possibly for trade. I kind of don't like putting things up for trade because you always get really silly offers, and it's like, really? I still my favourite trade was a pure cool purple Fender Squire Strat, right? Awesome looking thing, brilliant condition. I'd upgraded the tuners, I'd put different pickups in it and a crazy pickup switching thing that gave you 10 sounds, humbuckers and all that. And did I put a mirror scratch plate on it? Something like that. So, really tarted up, playing like a dream, fully set up, fully fret jobbed Squire Strat. I thought, possible for trades. And someone genuinely offered me a red Affinity Strat that was missing a tuner, was really dirty, and one of the saddles missing, but it would probably be alright if you fixed it as a swap. It's like, wow. So would you like to swap your guitar for the same guitar but a cheaper model without any of the modifications, a couple of bits missing and really dirty? No. There is some element of it. See if it had been like a Les Paul shape, I could see some reason in it. It's like, you're selling a Strat. Do you want to swap it for a Les Paul? Unfortunately, the Les Pauls maybe... I can sort of see that. But do you want to swap it for the same thing, but instead of being in a really cool colour, it's in a boring colour, and it's in pretty shit condition? No. So, sensible swaps, maybe. I like fixing up guitars, so ideally, one that's, if it's maybe got like a tuner missing, or it's a wee bit dirty, it's a wee bit bent, but it's a much more expensive guitar, maybe. But if anyone fancies a shot at a Floyd Rose, and even probably the cheapest way to get a Floyd Rose equipped guitar, and it looks something a bit fancy, because Floyd Roses are a nightmare to set up. Well, once you know what you're doing, they're not a nightmare to set up. This one's set up, look, it sits flat on the body, look, and it goes up, and it goes down, and it goes back to the middle when you let go of it. Woo! But a shop will charge you at least 60 quid to set up a Floyd Rose. So do the sums and look at, I'm buying a guitar for £150, brand new. The one with the Floyd Rose, I don't know, be a Jackson or whatever. Are the shop going to have set it up? No. is the answer. No. So you might be lucky. You'll probably be alright if it's an Ibanez, to be honest, because it'll have been set up in the factory. But for many other brands, it's like, yeah. In fact, one of the main problems with Floyd Roses, I think, which people don't know, is you got to keep the set. This is 10s on this, which I kind of just medium strings, roto sound 10s. So if you put 8s on this, the Floyd Rose has much less stringy, so it'll sink into the body. If you put 12s on it, the Floyd Rose will be up like this, so it needs adjusted. If you put different types of strings on it, a lot of people don't seem to know that. And the problem is, just going by experience of guitars I've seen, people have, I get to buy a guitar brand new like this, the Ibanez, whatever it is. It's great, I'll down tune it and put 12s on it. So they put the strings on it, the bridge is like this. Then they have a wee go at trying to adjust all the bits on it. And it's like, if you know what you're doing, totally adjustable. If you're just an absolute lunatic and you don't have the correct size Allen key, so I'll just try and turn it with pliers. And I don't quite have the right screwdriver, but this one sort of fits. It just chews up the heads a little bit. Not the best way of doing it. So, I'm all for having a wee go at trying to fix things yourself, but things like, if something's really, really difficult to turn, like, it's really tough. It's like, I can't turn it with the Allen key, so I'll get the monkey wrench out. Probably not meant to turn it that far. So you get these bits with bits snapped off and bent and all that. This one isn't set up fine. Even if you did go to like 9s or 11s or something like that, it's just a case of adjusting the claw strings in the back. It's the only thing you'll have to touch to set it. I'll even tell you how to do that. There is a pretty good system for how you set up a Floyd Rose, which is quite good, rather than just being pure random. I remember spending hours. I remember watching the entirety of Prometheus trying to set up a Floyd Rose on a Yamaha before. I did it, but I didn't realise the trick and how you do it properly. I just did it, yes. At the end, it was just as set up as this one, but a long time and an awful lot of trial and error, whereas I've kind of got a system now where I can kind of do it relatively quickly and accurately. It involves wedging something behind it, over tightening the strings, tuning it up, letting it out, and then tuning. It was in tune before it sank in, so it was held up in tune. Take out the hold the up thing, bang, it gets sucked back into the body, and then you actually tune it using the string, the claw, the tension claws on the back to raise it up, and then you can eventually get it so as this one sits perfectly parallel with the guitar, which means that when you bend it down and let go of it, it goes back to where it is, and when you pull it up, it goes back to where it was, and you end up with the same. When you let go of it, it's in the same tune. So this was a 5-minute video just to sell this guitar. 21.5 minutes later. So if you've got this far, you probably have bought the guitar by now. It's not going to be expensive. I kind of like the idea of trading it for something. Trading up for something. Maybe something spiky. Something I've not had before. Something that needs a Floyd Rose setup. A guitar that's basically a similar quality level. No, a slightly better quality level, but needs a Floyd Rose setup. And you're getting a good deal there. Rock on!